Hi, welcome back to Sunday Scripture. This is a reading for the last week of September, or the last few days of September, and then the beginning of October, really. This is our fifth and final week of September, starting the Sunday the 27th. And I'm going to use the Radiant Rider-Waite deck again, which is one that I've used quite a lot now with you guys. So you should be familiar with that one by now. And we shall see what comes up for the week ahead. So I'm just shuffling the cards, and then I shall connect to them. Connecting to you as well. So I'm joining all of the energies. I put my intention in. And we'll see what comes up for us. That's the first card. Card. Okay, I'm not quite sure about that one, so I'm going to keep going. Okay. So we've got a bonus card as well, so we've actually got 4 cards here. So we've got 2 cards for the weekend, which will be interesting. Okay, so the first card that we have for Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday is Temperance. So if we just look at the imagery on that card before I turn it around. So we've got an angel standing by the water, with 1 foot in the water and 1 foot on the land. So there's a balance between being on the earth, being on firm solid ground, and being in the water, which is soft and supple, and it's flowing, it's moving, it's kind of like you put your foot into the water and your foot disappears into the water. It's not solid, it's not permanent. If you dive all the way in, it can support you and hold you up, but if you're trying to walk across it, you can't, you're just going to fall in and sink. So like when we're on firm ground, when we're standing on the land or the rock in this card, we feel more stable and secure. And then when we put our foot in the water, we're a little off balance. We're not quite sure what to expect. It's a different energy. It's an energy that is more feminine. So the land is more masculine, like the rock that he's standing on is more masculine. It's like, okay, there's a strength in standing there. You know, he can be balanced. He can kind of like defend himself. So if someone comes and tries to like push you when you're standing on land, you can like hold your ground. You are rooted within yourself, and on the land you're connected to it, but you're not inside of it, you're not of it. When you step into the water, you lose that sense of stability. You have to surrender to it. In order to be able to swim, in order to be able to float, you actually have to surrender to the water and trust that it will hold you up. And then in doing so, you then trust that you can swim through it or move through it and work with it. It's like when you have a relationship with the water, you work with the water when you are in water. You're not trying to dominate it. You're not trying to conquer it as one does with land. You have to be in union with it in order to be able to move through it, in order to be able to enjoy it and experience it. You cannot overpower it. You have to surrender to it. And so there are 2 different energies happening here. There is the energy of standing on the land, standing your ground, holding your ground, and being where you feel safe, where you're used to, within the structure of that, within the routine of that, within, life as you know it, as it feels safe to you. And then there's the other foot that's going into the water, and that foot is opening up to the possibility of something new. It's like, oh, this might be better in here in the water, where things are flowing and moving, where they're not kind of like stagnant, where new life is coming in and moving around constantly. The water nurtures the plants. Yeah, the water gives life. Without water, we would die. And water is our emotions. Our emotions are fluid. They flow through us. Like, if you tune into a feeling or an emotion within your body, you can feel the current of it. It's not static or stagnant. It has an energy to it, like water. And so, in the tarot cards, water does symbolize emotions. And this is a kind of like a card of basically like standing between these two poles and being of both, not being just one and not being the other on its own, being of both. You want to go, okay, I need to be strong and I need to be hard and I need to be grounded and I need to kind of like be in charge of my realm, my kingdom. But at the same time, I need to be softer, I need to be more gentle, I need to be more feminine, I need to surrender, and I need to go into what all of this is going on inside of me and around me, all of the emotions that are happening within each and every one of us every single day just because of life. And you instead of fighting them, when you go into the water and embrace your feminine side, you surrender to them and you experience them and you allow them to pass through you without judging them, without trying to hold them, without trying to label them or name them. So it's like, the masculine and the feminine. The masculine is trying to conquer and the feminine is like, no, surrender to it. Let it flow through you, because that is the way to your freedom. Your freedom lies through letting these emotions flow through you instead of trying to cut yourself off from them, to protect yourself from them, or to conquer them. In doing that, all you end up doing is suppressing the emotions, and they get trapped inside and they keep coming up and being provoked. Today's card is asking us on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday to just look at these two poles and try and have more balance between them in your life. Don't allow yourself to be all one or all the other, because that's not going to serve you best. The way to best serve yourself is through balancing these things, and in doing so and allowing yourself to pour the energy from between both cups, the masculine and the feminine, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, tempering it so that it becomes a perfect balance and union between the two. That will carry you to where you want to go, to the best place for you, will set you on the best path. And we see that at the end, as we come out of this stream, there's a pathway here that goes into the mountains, and there's a crown overhead, which is basically saying, and these flowers, these narcissi, are kind of like our ego, which is all about image and what we look like, what we possess, kind of like material things that are superficial, things that will fade, like youth and beauty. And it's like, by going to the water and by looking in and by really truly seeing our reflection, looking into who we actually are, and by surrendering to it and by leaving our ego here by the shore, then we will free ourselves up to walk to the promised land where we're all trying to go to, our personal ideas of health and happiness and freedom. So watch out on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, and if you're finding yourself being provoked, if you're finding that your buttons are being pushed by anything that's going on in your life, it's just temper yourself, and try and sit between the two sides, masculine and feminine. Don't lean too far into one or the other, because if you go too masculine, then you become too aggressive, and that will separate you from others, and then you will be on your own fighting against, and nobody really wins. Even if you win, you don't win. If you become too feminine, then you get overpowered and dominated, and you get left with a different emotion, which is one of feeling weak and feeling used and feeling violated and victimized. And so it's important to keep the balance between the two, so that we can be peaceful in situations where we are provoked or confronted, and that way we can better navigate through them and not be affected by them so deeply, not be wounded by these interactions, and stay in our adult selves rather than being triggered and reverting to our childlike selves, which is where it ultimately all goes wrong. The next card we have for Thursday and Friday is the 9 of Cups, and this man looks very happy with himself. He's kind of like, he's sitting there and he's got these 9 golden gleaming cups up on a pedestal being displayed for people to see, this beautiful blue velvet cloth, and he's sitting there in his blue outfit on his stool in front with his red hat on. His arms are kind of crossed in satisfaction. His legs are wide open because he feels comfortable, he feels safe, he feels secure, because he has achieved a certain amount of success in his life, a certain amount of security in his life, and he knows that people can look upon him, upon his personal kingdom, and see the treasures that are there, the wealth that is there. And so maybe this card is like asking us to look more kindly upon ourselves and to value the treasure that we have in our lives already. So to sit down on the stool and to ground ourselves, and to open ourselves up to the truth, and to look at the things that we have in our life. Like, do we have shelter? Do we have a place to live where we can come home to each day if we go out, where we can put our head down at night and sleep without fear of disturbance, without fear of injury, without fear of someone coming in and threatening us? Do we have that? Do we have shelter that we feel safe within? If we do, then that's 1 cup easily. Do we have food on our table? Can we feed ourselves? Can we provide for our family? Can we eat healthily? Is there enough so that we're not fearful of not being able to eat tomorrow, or feed ourselves next month? If we have that is definitely a golden cup, especially now, right now, more than ever. Like, lots of people are facing different scenarios in their lives that they never had before in terms of basic needs. Lots of people who had good jobs, had stable jobs, secure jobs, had high paying jobs, have lost their jobs and are now trying to survive on hardly anything, on income support, which is nowhere near enough for modern needs, for our normal life, even a frugal life, let alone somebody with big overheads because they've been used to having a larger salary. So if we have these simple things, which are huge things, covered, then those are definitely 2 cups that we have that we can be truly thankful for. If we have people around us who we value, who we love, who love and value us, who treat us kindly, who we have good union with, then that is definitely another gold cup. If we have passions, things that we love to do that light us up, things that occupy our spare time, or things that we have turned into a career so that they bring us some form of financial reward. That's definitely another gold cup too. If we have clothes to wear, and if we can, afford to buy toiletries and, shampoo and shower gel and things like that, that's another cup. Certainly, if we have a vehicle that can get us from A to B, that is another cup. If we, if we can afford to have a gym membership or something, or if we can afford to go to a cinema or go to an exhibition, or give ourselves little luxuries, then that's another cup at least. What else? If we have our health, that's a cup. If we lots of different things. If we exercise on a regular basis and take care of ourselves in that way, our physical health, then we could call that a carb. If we eat healthily and we're following a certain healing path, and then that could be another carb. If we like to write poetry and are creating things of beauty, that can be another carb. If we are a vicarious reader and we love literature, and we like to read for a certain amount of time every day, and that really takes us to a different place and really kind of settles our nervous system and brings us great joy, that's another carb. If we have children, they're carbs. If we have pets, they're carbs. If we have faith, that's a carb. It doesn't have to be, the carbs that we have in our life don't have to be about being really rich and wealthy, or being successful, or being famous, or having perfect health, or being in love, or having met Mr. or Mrs. Right. Our cups can be the tiniest of things if they are of value to us. Our cup could be as simple as a cup of green tea once a day that we drink for enjoyment and health. Our cup could be going for a walk first thing in the morning or last thing at night in a beautiful place, or even just around our neighborhood. So look to your life on Thursday and Friday and really appreciate the things that are value that you have. Show gratitude, be grateful, and really lean into that energy of just celebrating your life, what you actually have, not what you don't have. And pat yourself on the back and be really, really grateful about that and happy about that. And don't show off about it, don't promote it, but don't belittle it either. Sit comfortably and confidently in the wealth within your life, but don't rub it in anyone else's face if they're in a different situation. Be very graceful about the whole thing. The card for Saturday and Sunday, and then the next one is kind of like the bonus card that ties in, is the Five of Wands. And this card is about conflict and being at being in locked horns with another, being at loggerheads, that whole okay, it's one set of horns pitted against the other, and we're kind of arguing. So it's when we're in a situation where we're being stubborn and they're being stubborn, and we've got our point of view and they've got their point of view, and nobody wants to compromise because I'm right, but I'm right, and you're both right in your own mind, and you just cannot see a way through it to compromise. Neither one of you is prepared to surrender to the situation and to just go, okay, fine, and diffuse it in a really, really mature way, which is really, really hard. Yeah, it's a very difficult thing to do, especially when we believe in something passionately and when we, within ourselves, believe ourselves to be right. It's very difficult to then concede to somebody else's point of view or perspective if in our minds they're completely wrong, they're barking up the wrong tree. But this card is kind of like showing us the energy of what happens when we can't surrender. It's like we're not building anything here, we're tearing it down, we're doing the opposite of what the wand energy is supposed to be about. And we're all, we could be friends. These 5 people could all be friends, could all be in right relationship with one another, and yet they're not. They're entangled in this brawl and they're fighting against each other. Like they're not supporting each other, they're not helping each other. They're not going to build a house with that energy, are they? They're just making a complete and utter mess. So this card is just like saying, watch out for this. That you might encounter this over the weekend. And if you're aware of it, if you can see it coming, then you are then empowered to step back and avoid becoming entangled. You can kind of like just take up the higher ground, just like rise your consciousness above it, so like, okay, I'm just gonna like go up and look down on this situation. I don't have to be inside of it, I don't have to be feeling it in such an enmeshed, passionate way. I can rise above it to look down from another perspective, and when I'm looking down from above, I can see how I am part of it, and I am creating into it. I am feeding it with my response and my energy, and this is not helpful, and this is not going to resolve the situation in the way that I want. Maybe I'll win ultimately, but at what cost? Maybe they'll win, but at what cost? And so to avoid that payment in energy, which will happen whether you like it or not, you will pay in energy within any conflict, whether you win or lose. It's just to see it coming before it comes and to step back. And then the last card that we have, which is kind of like an extra card sitting over the top of the weekend, is the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune is basically inviting you to spin the wheel and to see what comes up, to surrender really to chance, to luck, to whatever the universe chooses to bring your way. And to trust that that's the next part in your journey. To trust that it has come from a higher place, like a place of superior wisdom to where you are right now. So tune in to your intuition and spin the wheel within your mind, saying yes, no, maybe, do this, do that, no this, no that. Spin that wheel with all the possibilities written on top of it and see where it lands, and trust that where that lands, where that wheel of fortune, like the game wheel on the TV program, where that wheel lands is where you're supposed to be. And that will kind of help you get an extra boost out of your weekend and an extra bit of clarity and guidance for moving forward. So it looks like a pretty positive week, a week with lots of opportunities to grow and to be a better person, to learn and develop, like, spiritually. Just watch out for that Five of Wands and, you know, the kind of like potential triggering that you might undergo, and choose in advance how you want to respond. So now you know about it. When it happens, you can choose not to engage. You can choose not to be, you know, pulled into it. When someone kind of like presses your buttons, or when someone's acting out, you don't need to be sucked into their drama. You can kind of choose to step away. It's not your drama. You didn't create it. You don't have to take part in it. That is your choice, and how you navigate that situation will ultimately affect what it costs you, and also maybe what it costs the other person, because if you don't engage with them, then there is no fight. So I'll just hold up the cards again so you can take another look. So that was Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. So it's just about balancing emotions, balancing polarities, balancing masculine and feminine energies within us. This one, the Nine of Cups. About taking stock of our lives and being grateful for the gifts that we do have. Just reflecting upon the great things in our life, especially if something comes up in the week that's a bit difficult, that makes you feel down. It's just a reminder to like focus on the positive, focus on the good things that you have, not the good things that you want but you don't have. Watch out for the Five of Cups, the weekend, and possible conflict. And then spin the Wheel of Fortune and trust what comes up, and allow that to point you in a new direction for a new week. So I hope you found that reading interesting and enjoyable, and there's definitely lots to think about there, and take with you forward into the week. Thank you for watching. And please do like this video, subscribe to my channel, and visit my website lemonrosepetals.com if you would like to book a personal reading, or just find out more about me. Then that would be great to see you there, and you can contact me via my website as well, and I will see you next time. Bye.